one of the most infamous episodes in American history. A sinister cloud was gathering over Salem, one that would result in accusations, trials, and executions, a chilling episode known as the Salem Witch Trials. The horror began in the home of Reverend Samuel Parris. His daughter, Betty, and niece, Abigail Williams, started to exhibit strange and disturbing behavior. They convulsed in fits, screamed out in terror, and contorted their bodies in unnatural positions. Doctors were baffled, unable to find a cause for their affliction. The only explanation offered was bewitchment, planting the first seed of fear and suspicion in the community. Soon, other girls in the village began to display similar symptoms. The terror was spreading, and the question on everyone's lips was, who is casting these malevolent spells? Pressured to name their tormentors, the afflicted girls accused 3 women, Sarah Good, a homeless beggar, Sarah Osborne, an elderly woman, and Tituba, a slave of Caribbean descent in the Parris household. These accusations set off a chain reaction of fear, suspicion, and hysteria that would consume Salem. Trials began in June 1692 under the oversight of a specially appointed court. The proceedings were a horrifying spectacle. The accused, many of them women, were subjected to harsh interrogations and, in some instances, physical examinations to find proof of their pact with the devil. The evidence accepted in court was chillingly absurd, ranging from spectral evidence, where the accusers claimed to see the specters of the witches tormenting them, to touch tests, where the victim's fits seemed to cease upon contact with the accused. The frenzy continued to escalate. Neighbors turned on neighbors. Friends and family were torn apart by suspicion and fear. Even the most pious and respected members of the community were not safe from accusation. No one was beyond the reach of the growing hysteria. By the fall of 1692, 20 people had been executed, 19 hanged, and 1, Giles Corey, subjected to the horrifying ordeal of being pressed to death under heavy stones for refusing to enter a plea. Scores more languished in jail, their lives in limbo, awaiting trial in the shadow of the gallows. Eventually, as the trials continued, doubts began to creep in. Reverend Increase Mather, a respected minister, condemned the use of spectral evidence, stating that it were better that 10 suspected witches should escape than 1 innocent person be condemned. His words, along with the growing discomfort and the end of the crisis in the afflicted girls, led to the disbanding of the court in October 1692. In the aftermath, the community was left to grapple with the enormity of what had transpired. The Salem Witch Trials had turned a close-knit community into a scene of terror and betrayal. Salem was a village haunted by the memories of the innocent lives lost and the chilling knowledge of the hysteria that had led to such a horrifying chapter in their history. The Salem Witch Trials serve as a disturbing reminder of the destructive power of mass hysteria, and the horrifying lengths people can go when gripped by fear and superstition. Even today, the events that unfolded in Salem in 1692 continue to cast a long, dark shadow, a chilling testament to a time when the fear of the unknown led to one of the darkest episodes in the annals of human history. Here are some lesser-known facts about this historic event. 1. The first accused witch in Salem was not actually executed. Bridget Bishop was the first person to be tried and found guilty of witchcraft, but she was hanged, not burned at the stake as commonly believed. 2. While 19 people were executed during the trials, not all of them were hanged. Giles Corey, an elderly man, was pressed to death with heavy stones for refusing to enter a plea. 3. The Salem Witch Trials were not the largest witch hunt in American history. The trials in Salem Village resulted in the deaths of 20 people, but the witch trials in Hartford, Connecticut, in the 1660s claimed the lives of more than 30 individuals. 4. The accusers in the Salem Witch Trials were mainly young girls, but not all of them. Some adult women, such as Ann Putnam Sr., also played a significant role in naming accused witches. 5. The trials had a significant impact on the legal system. In 1692, spectral evidence, evidence based on dreams and visions, was admissible in court. However, after the trials, this type of evidence was no longer accepted. 6. The Salem Witch Trials had complex social and religious dynamics. Personal rivalries, land disputes, and religious tensions within the community all played a role in fueling the hysteria. 7. The last trial related to the Salem Witch Trials took place in 1693, but it wasn't until 1711 that the colonial government formally apologized for the trials and offered financial restitution to the families of the victims. These lesser-known facts shed light on the intricacies and consequences of the Salem Witch Trials, reminding us of the complexities surrounding this dark chapter in history.